welcome to My Chemical Fancast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Haley.
And this is a podcast dedicated to all things My Chemical Romance. Today, we are going on to the next 3 songs on the Black Parade, since we really only covered, let's be honest, one long song on the last one. So now we're actually covering songs.
Yep.
The songs we're covering today are This Is How I Disappear, The Sharpest Lives, and Welcome to the Black Parade.
Insert G note.
Oh my god.
Are we going to G-note these motherfuckers through the whole thing?
I don't know, man.
I feel like we should.
Oh my god.
Today, we are covering my favorite song.
Yes, we are.
We are covering my favorite My Chemical Romance song. No, it's not Welcome to the Black Parade. Fuck you for thinking that. It's This Is How I Disappear. It is my favorite MCR song ever.
Yeah.
It's my favorite song.
This is me back when we did Ghost of You.
Yes.
This is how I felt.
I'm living. I'm thriving.
I also like this song a lot. My beef with the song...
Your beef with the song?
My beef with the song, even though I like it, prefacing it with the fact that I like it. But if I have beef with the song...
Alright, is this going to be like a cubicles discussion again? Because...
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know. My only beef is that it takes 2.5 minutes to get to the good part. There's a lot of goodness about the song before that, but where it slaps, the really fucking good part is 2.5 minutes in.
I understand where it slaps, but the whole song slaps.
But
the whole song is the good part.
Let's start talking about the song, and I will point out where I disagree about the
okay.
first part.
All right. First of all, I always have a religious experience when I listen to this song. Mm-hmm. If I just close my eyes and focus on listening to the song, I get chills all over. I sometimes cry. Everything about this song just speaks to my soul.
It's a really big song. It's a really pretty song.
Yes.
It's a very beautiful song, especially the intro. So pretty.
It's so much. Okay, so what it's based on is the seance Houdini's wife held after Houdini died. Mm-hmm. So after he died, she held a seance to try and contact him, and Gerards says, I was very inspired by that. He was this amazing escape artist, but he couldn't escape death, via Rolling Stone interview. This is where he also said that this was his personal favorite, so I feel validated.
Oh my god.
So she holds the seance. So I looked up, why she held a seance, what the heck kind of person do you have to be to want to hold a seance to contact your dead husband?
Hey, that sounds judgmental, man.
It's not, but it's mildly strange, especially for that time period, I feel, and especially considering Houdini spent, a lot of his life debunking mediums and, people who held seances and psychics and, all that kind of thing. He spent a lot of his life debunking a lot of these really popular mediums. Mm-hmm. So why did they choose this to contact each other and be like, all right, see you, after you die, this is how we're going to get in touch. Hit me up after you die. So I just feel like it's kind of ironic. And I think they maybe did that on purpose.
I thought she held a seance because the Houdinis as a couple, yeah, they didn't believe in that sort of thing, but it was used commonly as a magic trick, though it wasn't always sold as a magic trick. And so I think that sort of fits in with their whole thing to hold a seance after he died.
Yeah.
As another sort of magic trick. But on that Gerard quote, that he was an amazing escape artist who couldn't escape death, when I read that, I was like, you know what, guys? I think that the entire MCR discography is just Gerard trying to come to terms with death.
Yes.
I think Bullets...
Ding, ding, ding.
I think Bullets is he's shocked by death and doesn't know what to do with it, and he's just trying to work through, processing what death is. Mm-hmm. And Revenge is
he's angry.
Revenge is angry and also leaning too far into it.
Yeah.
And putting on this false bravado of yeah, fucking kill me.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
See what I care, but he cares a lot.
Yep.
And Black Parade is finally becoming an adult and accepting it and accepting that life ends.
Yeah.
And that we don't necessarily know what's after, but all that matters is that you're living now and doing the best that you can. And then Danger Days is fuck it.
I'm already dead.
Danger Days is if death comes anyway and we're living our best lives, this is what our best life is. Mm-hmm. It's saying fuck you to the man. It's shooting up a desert so that evil corporations don't get to control our lives.
Yeah.
That's what the entire career of MCR was.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up. That's it. It's Gerard coming to terms with death. And I think Black Parade is him trying, at least, to come to terms with his mortality, as well as his parents and his friends and his brother and everyone, you know? And it's a hard thing to come to terms with, especially, like, when he was making this, he's 26? 27?
Don't make me count.
He's still around our age.
In his mid-20s.
Yeah, he's still around our age. So, like, you know, you start thinking about it, and it's one of those big things that's, like, kind of hard to grasp. You know, it's like you don't really understand it. If you really start to think about death, and you're like, okay, so it just stops? Like, so if you don't have a really solid belief system, and you don't know for sure, like, I'm going to heaven after, or, like, I'm a shitty person, I'm going to go to hell, I know that. Or, like, you know, you don't believe that you're going to be reincarnated, or any kind of belief system you have, if you just think that it fucking stops, that's terrifying.
It's terrifying unless you're like me and you just accept it.
Yeah, but
I'm not afraid of death. Fun fact.
We discussed this the other day, that you're not afraid of death.
Not.
About hitting moose.
Because if there's nothing, then there's nothing, and I'm not here to worry about it, so.
Yeah, I understand it, but I don't know. I feel like it's a pressure. If you feel like there's nothing after death, there's this pressure to get everything done while you're alive.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to get stuff done, but if I can't really be sad about it because I'll be dead.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
but I do want to get stuff done.
I get it. So, anyway,
I'm spending my precious time on this earth doing this fucking podcast.
This is what you were meant to do. I have one more thing about Houdini.
Okay.
Last thing about Houdini is that this is the second time we've seen Houdini. I want to know what Gerard's, like, obsession with Houdini is, because I feel like he has a low-key obsession that he's just kind of trying to slide into MCR's life.
I think he does talk about that later on at the end of the band. I think he maybe talked about that a little bit.
I don't remember. I'm gonna have to research when we get there, but I don't remember what he said.
I mean, I too am also very into magic and magicians. So, yeah, I feel like I kind of get it. There's, like, magicians sort of live, like, it's kind of like tattoo culture, like living in this always Halloween kind of spooky world. So that kind of fits. And also that Houdini was, like, one of the first magicians to not go the route of mediums. Because magic tricks used to be, like, spirit boxes, or they were sold as, like, the spirit world contacting you. And Houdini is one of the first people to say, no, this is a trick. It's magic. I mean, it's like, you know, man-made magic. And,
right.
And it's not religiously affiliated. It doesn't have to do with, like, actual spirits or anything.
The ethereal plane. Like.
Yeah. He was, like, one of the first, like, non-bullshit artists about it. He was like, I'm just very skilled at this.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Gerard, come on the pod and talk about it. Shall we start with the song, the music?
Yes. So, all right. We usually start with influences. Do you have any? I don't really have any influencers for this.
I don't really have much for influences, except that Ray said that, and, like, you can't see me, but I'm using quotes. The tags before the choruses were inspired by Smashing Pumpkins' Zero.
Yeah.
So there's these little, like, he has, like, a strum and a couple scratches and a strum and a couple scratches. It's like, dun, 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 that part.
Yeah.
That part's inspired by Zero, not because that part is necessarily in Zero, but because I think Ray was just inspired by the scratching that's at the beginning of Zero.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got for influences.
Yeah, that heavy guitar also has kind of the feel of Zero, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't really talk too much about direct influences on this song, except for, like, obviously Ray's guitar solo is straight Iron Maiden. Like, this just...
Yeah. You can say that for a lot of his guitar solos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the intro is really beautiful. I didn't appreciate it as much until I played it as a potential podcast intro, and there are just a couple chords in there that really touch me. There's, like, a G minor chord or something.
Yeah.
But, like, a special G minor, not a regular G minor. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
And the bridge is also so good.
We're going to talk about the fucking bridge, my dude. And I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
Am I skipping ahead? Do you want to talk about other things before we talk about the
Yes,
bridge?
we're skipping ahead a little bit, so we're going to slow down. All right.
I'm skipping to the parts that I like.
No, we can't get there yet. You got to take your time. So I'm analyzing this song based on the assumption that it's the patient speaking to a former lover or like a current girlfriend that he's letting go of or something. That's my assumption.
I understand that assumption. I make a slightly different assumption where I think he's reaching out to the dead in general and asking, like, what's next.
Yeah.
And maybe a dead lover, but I feel more just generally, like, trying to contact the dead and asking them to tell him what's coming.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know, that just has the vibe to me for this song, is him speaking to someone who, I don't know, maybe like a first love or like the person he never fell out of love with or something, you know.
Or just someone who might have cared about him once.
Yeah.
One of the few people, because he's apparently a dick.
Right, and yeah, we've talked about that. He sounds kind of like he was a shitty person or is a shitty person because he's still alive and he's, you know, coming to grips with his imminent death.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. But so he says, you know, without you is how I disappear. So like maybe this girl is his like tie to his humanity or his tie to life or like the one reason that he would want to live. So, you know, maybe she's still alive and she's just a former lover or I don't know. But, and he also talks about in this song, like things that I've done that you should never know, which also kind of comes up in Mama.
Yeah.
Talking about the shit that I've done. And, you know, it comes up a couple times that he's like, you know, I've done stuff that is not really that cool or like is not something that I want to be public knowledge. So it sounds kind of like he's ashamed of his actions. Like he doesn't say what they are, but it just sounds like he's ashamed of something that he's done.
I think they come up later because I think most of it is centered around addiction and then it's implied in Mama that like he goes off to war or something.
Yeah. So, and the whole like the heavy part right after the bridge,
yes.
You know,
I'm very familiar.
Yes, you're aware. So the lyrics there, so I can't hurt you anymore, want to see how far down I can sink. He's basically, I feel like this is him pushing someone away. So like things are about to get dark, let me go. He literally says, let me go. Don't stick around because I'm about to die. So maybe he's pushing people away to like lessen the blow on them, maybe?
Yeah, or that, because I think that this album, even though it has a concept, that it's pretty loosey-goosey with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the idea that this song is the patient on both sides of the seance. Like, part of the song is him asking the dead to help him and give him direction about what's coming next. Then maybe like that part, that post-bridge part, is if he was on the other side and he was already dead.
Right.
What he would say.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. We never know whose point of view we're talking about because Gerards switches point of view so often. So we never know like if he's flipping forward to the future or if he's speaking from a girlfriend's point of view or the patient's point of view or the mom's point of view or what. So this is all kind of like just what it feels like to us, I guess.
Yeah.
So the fucking instrumental and the isolated vocal. We just need to play the bridge. Can we just play the bridge?
Yes, we can play the bridge.
I want to play the bridge.
Bridge is so pretty.
Forever now you hear me cry out to you as I thought I'd choke, I'd figure out I'm really not with you anymore. I'm just a ghost.
I think the bridge is really pretty, and I think the vocals are really pretty, but all the things I wrote down for the bridge are the things that are cut out of that track. So I think the music is also the prettiest on the track.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying that the vocals on the bridge are one of my favorite things about this song.
It is really nice.
Yes, it is.
I just think that bridge like might be a section of perfect music.
Yeah.
Because everything works well. Like there's the bass gets really prominent there, and that's really nice. And the guitars doing these little kind of like a Spanish romance thing again. So good. And the little cymbal taps. I'm here for the cymbals.
Yeah.
They all work well together.
Yeah, and the bridge's guitar is just straight metal, like anything. We've said anything Ray does is just straight Iron Maiden. The whole thing right there is just you feel like you listen to any Iron Maiden song, you're like, oh yeah, it's Ray Toro.
It also kind of sounds like an Avenged Sevenfold song.
Okay.
That I can't think of what it is right now.
Is it the heavy guitars?
No, it's the vocals.
Really?
Do, do, do. There's like a... right?
Oh, I think you're thinking of Backcountry, maybe?
Probably thinking of Backcountry. Let me
That's
play
like
it
the
real
only
quick.
Avenged Sevenfold song you know.
Save me, and you know I don't want the attention.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which I totally forgot about until now.
What a great song, man. That was my edgy song when I was 14.
Me too. Like, I wasn't into a lot of Avenged Sevenfold, but in my MySpace days, I definitely had at least like 7 Avenged Sevenfold tracks on repeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it totally reminds me of Backcountry. Mm-hmm. And then you get the fucking drop.
Oh my gosh.
It's the best part of the fucking song. I love it. It's so good. It kind of reminds me of the Danger Days transition they do that I love so much. It's like around Vampire Money when they do it live. Like, that's how I feel about this drop.
Yeah, it has that vibe. It has like, you're just like your whole body gets tight.
Yes. The second half is the best half.
Yes. Okay. The part where it gets heavy and he's saying, right when he says, I can't hurt you anymore, and he does the, the screaming that comes in.
So I can't hurt you anymore. So I can't hurt you anymore. You wanna see how far down I can see?
I love the screaming.
The screaming that comes, there's like 5 different screams
There's
going
so much
on there.
variety.
Yes, there's so many different kinds of screams.
So I can't hurt you anymore. You wanna see how far down I can sink? Let me go.
So Gerard had to sit in the studio and scream into the microphone like 8 separate times and do it differently each time. He was like, all right, Gerard, come give me variety. Him, meaning Rob Cavallo. Gerard, give me variety. Give me different kinds of screams. Give me different kinds of anguish. And the heavy... Oh, God, the heavy screams and the low octave.
Yeah, he usually does like the demonic screams live only.
Yeah.
For really brief periods, but they are captured here forever.
Oh my gosh. I cannot get over this fucking part. I cannot get over how good it is. It's the best thing they've ever done.
If we're talking about the vocals in the bridge, I do have a note.
Yes.
There's one vocal part in the bridge where I think he's really close to the microphone, and it's a really low part. You can't even tell what he's fucking saying. And when I heard it in the isolated tracks, my jaw just dropped. Like it does like an ASMR kind of thing to me. Mm-hmm. It makes my spine tingle. Mm-hmm. It's so good. It's not even just good, it's just like an experience.
Yeah.
Because I think he is like right on the microphone so than in any of his other recorded vocals.
Yeah, he doesn't have super strong low range, so for you to be able to even hear it, he has to be way up on the microphone like that.
Yeah, I think that's why it's like an ASMR thing, because he's like right on top of it, and he's not very loud. It's just like this like low, not a whisper, but like a low talking thing.
Yeah, I know what part you're talking about. Yeah.
I discovered it, and my mind was blown. My life was changed. I still don't know what to do with myself.
And the A
Oh my God.
is everywhere in this song. I can't even tell you to listen to one specific part for it. It's everywhere in this song. But I will tell you, it is not his highest note in this song.
No, this is a pretty high song.
Yeah, and backing vocals not included because the backing vocals are everywhere.
Yeah.
But in the full voice part, in the main lead vocal, the highest note is a D, which, he's screaming it, like he's yelling it, so it mildly like doesn't count, but it's still like really good and really powerful, and he absolutely never does that live.
No.
So the whole song is just basic chord structures. It's not anything like super revolutionary or like anything really experimental, but they play so much with rhythm and harmonies, and they explore a lot of new territory in the song, I think.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of things together, which they wouldn't usually put all together in one song.
Yeah.
I feel. I also have a quote from Frank that I just have to read because it made me laugh. It's from the special edition. I think the night at the haunted-ass Paramore, Ray and I were smoking cigarettes and dying them out in some old urn. We channeled the ghost of, all caps, single note mosh. Because that was the night we worked out the heavy section into the faster B section.
Yes.
I will also note for you that in Frank's liner notes for the special edition box set, his capitalization all over the place. It's crazy. Nobody edited this before it went in, which is fine, but like it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
And he also mentions that there were a lot of snacks that were critical to the writing process.
Yeah, of course there were. Yeah. Oh, my notes on the instrumentals. The drum roll at the beginning, right before the go.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Wow. Bass is strong in this song.
Yes.
And the first verse versus second verse, it's the same basic structure. They usually do, like, first verse is whatever, and then second verse they do completely different. Mm-hmm. So this one, they're basically the same, but there's a guitar line that one of them does over it. I don't know which one.
Yeah, there's like an extra.
Yeah, there's like extra stuff over it. It's too long for a clip. Just if you go listen to the instrumental, you'll hear first verse versus second verse. You'll hear the guitar over it, and it's different. And for the bridge, like, you have to experience it 3 different ways. You have to experience it isolated vocals, instrumental, and together.
You're really asking a lot of these people.
No, I'm not. They know what they signed up for. They know why they're here. That's your homework.
So, I've always been fine with this song.
Fine.
Fine with this song. But it wasn't a huge favorite of mine because it has felt a little bit slow because it takes 2.5 minutes to get to the part that I really want to listen to. And because I'm not a huge fan of the chorus because I don't feel like it's a really special chorus. I feel like it's kind of like a filler chorus. Like, it's fine, but like, what's it adding to my life? So I do like the song, but there's a lot of choruses in it, and I feel like the chorus is a little bit lackluster compared to the rest of it because the rest of it slaps so hard.
Wow.
But there's so many beautiful guitar things going on.
Yes.
That now I'm really sweet on it.
Yes.
And it's just so pretty. It's such a pretty song. And I was listening to Revenge the other day, and Revenge is a good album, but it's very loud, it's very fast, it's very aggressive, and it doesn't leave a lot of these spaces for just prettiness. And I feel like Black Parade balances that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because Revenge has Helena and it has Ghost of You, and those are kind of the only like pretty songs on there. But Black Parade allows itself to be a little bit freer and more diverse, and you get things like This Is How I Disappear and all these pretty parts that weren't in their other albums.
Yeah.
And this isn't a ballad.
No, not at all.
Like, they incorporate this into a still like sometimes heavy killer song, and it's not like a throwaway ballad or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I really like that. And I feel like this song has a little bit of everything that makes up a classic My Chemical Romance sound. Like, I feel this is one of the perfect distillations of My Chemical Romance and the kind of sounds they make as a group. And it doesn't have like on Welcome to the Black Parade or Mama, it doesn't have a big orchestra, doesn't have a fucking tuba, it doesn't have a glockenspiel, it doesn't have like a bunch of extra things, it doesn't have like 200 tracks compressed into one song.
It boils them down to their basics and gets what they're really good at.
It's guitars, it's a bass, it's drums, it's, you know, some extra guitars. There might be like a couple other things in there, but it's mainly just a really good, tight My Chemical Romance song.
Yeah.
This is what they sound like.
Yes.
And I really like that.
Yes. And for the prettiness of the song, like the beginning, I mean, it is like, it's a gorgeous song. It's really pretty and it has some really soft parts that just allow you to kind of listen and feel. But the way that he says the words of the first verse, it's really biting and it's really harsh and it gets across the vibe that like it's a little bit angrier.
Which is also quintessential My Chemical Romance.
Yes, that's what I love. It has everything.
It's everything, except the chorus is a little bit low.
Fuck you.
Can't help it, man. But, okay, so this is the third song on the album, but really the first song that isn't this big theatrical opener of The End and Dead, which are like productions in and of themselves. And they're the big curtain rising, like, this is the beginning of the album, this is The Wall, this is Sgt. Pepper's. And so the curtain rises to this song, which is like one of the most quintessential My Chemical Romance songs.
Yeah.
What do we think of that? The fact that it goes from this big theatrical opening moment with tubas, with glockenspiels, to this song.
I feel like it's kind of set up like a musical theater piece or like a Greek play or a Greek tragedy or something, where it has the narrator or the chorus, like the peanut gallery, as we said, opening up the song and kind of laying the land, like giving you the setting, like, all right, this is what this thing that you're about to experience is going to be about. And then it has the main character come screaming in and like just cries on the floor, and he's experienced this tragedy. This is the first tragedy of the Greek tragedy. That's what I feel like it is. It has the chorus open it up and kind of give you a feel of what you're about to experience. And like, this is our tragic hero, and that has been his life so far, and this is what he's about to experience, but he doesn't know yet. So let's watch while he experiences.
It's like, now
this.
look at him.
Yeah, here he comes now.
Yeah. I can get on board with that. I can see that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's always what I've felt, is that it's the Greek chorus, up in the balcony, kind of being like, here he comes.
Maybe.
Yep. And I was absolutely crying while typing my notes for this. I was like, just listening to it, and I was like, it's just so like the desperate screaming and the continuation of the screaming into you want to see how far down, the really heavy, like demonic screaming part. It's so dark and it's so powerful and it's so good. And I get emotional every time I listen to this song.
Well, as we discussed, I haven't cried in a year, so I did not cry.
Well,
but I did enjoy it.
Unfortunate for you.
Yes, it is.
Maybe soon you can experience it.
Do you have anything more to say about Disappear?
I don't think so, and I'm really sad that we're letting it go now already.
I think we gave it a good shot. We gave it its due.
Yeah, I'm sad. But we can move on, I guess.
Next song, The Sharpest Lives.
Well, it rains and it pours when you're out on your own. If I crash on the couch, can I sleep in my clothes? 'Cause I spent the night dancing, I'm drunk, I suppose. If it looks like I'm laughing, I'm really just asking to leave this alone. You're in time for the show.
Okay, so I will start with an anecdote.
Okay.
I think I've already told you this, but I will now reveal it to the world.
Okay, here it goes.
When I was in 9th grade, we were reading Romeo and Juliet, and I titled an essay, "Grab the dagger and lather the blood off your hands, Romeo." It barely fit across the top of the notebook paper. It was like a handwritten essay, and I'm pretty sure that I drew like a little picture to go along with it that might have been a bloody dagger.
Yes.
And I'm also pretty sure that when I got my paper back, my teacher wrote on it, "Interesting title."
Interesting title.
So
she was about to call your parents.
just
She was like,
just
hey,
kill me, honestly. Like, just
counselor,
I don't need to live anymore.
maybe we should keep an eye on this child.
It's one of the cringiest things I've ever done.
Hey, Mrs. Cat's mom, maybe you should look after your child.
I can't. When I think about it, I just want to sink into a hole.
Oh man, I don't remember any specific instances, but I am 1,000,000% sure I've done something just as dark and cringy and like.
I also definitely wrote lyrics on my arm.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All
and I
over.
like drew tattoos on my arm.
Yep. I used to draw a rose right here in like gel pen.
Oh yeah.
Like every day. And I drew it like relatively well, so I had a couple people be like, "Is that a real tattoo?" And I was like, I wanted to say yes so bad. I was like 15. And I wanted to be like, yeah, it's real, but no, I couldn't do that.
I just draw designs I found on the internet. And I drew like a dragon on my left arm, obviously, because you can't put it on your right arm because you're right-handed. Right. And I kept it there for days because it was so good. I didn't want to take it off yet.
I feel that.
Just days. And that was also the time when I was wearing exclusively my Jack Skellington glow-in-the-dark hoodie.
Oh my gosh.
So like the ink would smear on like the Jack face, and it was a time.
Wow.
Who's good in middle school though? Okay, leave me alone.
Okay, so this song, it starts out by punching you in the mouth, and you say thank you, and the intense whispering is back.
Intense whispering is like the most intense.
Yes, I'm so excited about it.
The beginning kind of reminds me of Queen's "Now I'm Here," the way that begins. It's also got, it's not as like an engineered guitar sound, but it also has a guitar doing those quick strums, and Freddie's voice is going like around in both channels, so kind of reminds me of that.
Here I stand, look around. I'm here. Now I'm here. Now I'm there.
It also kind of sounds like To the End.
Yeah,
In
I
certain
can feel
ways.
that. I can feel that. Yeah, this song is super dramatic, super theatrical. It's just like it creates a scene for you, it creates a scenario.
And also, I don't know if this is a good time to mention it, but I gotta mention it sometime. It's burning a hole in me.
All right.
So Gerard mentions that he did some of the female voices on this album, and this is the time when he did those female voices are his voice.
Are they really? Which female
Yes.
voices? Play it for me. I need to hear it.
Okay, I'm gonna play it for you, and I want you to think about Breakfast Monkey when I do it. Think about Breakfast Monkey.
Oh no, you shall I choose to swing the city? What will I do?
Yeah. I've never really understood that part. I didn't know why, I don't understand why it's there. Like, I'm not mad at it, but I don't understand why it's there.
Let me look up the
Or,
lyrics again.
what character is it supposed to be, or, what he doing.
First of all, I feel like you didn't have enough appreciation for the fact that he did his female parts. Can we just, take a moment to let that wash over us?
No, I'm ready. I got
This
it.
man made those sounds in his studio?
Yeah, it's washing. I got it.
Oh my god! You guys.
I think most everyone thinks that that's Frank for some reason. That's what, in my youth, in exploring the songs, that's what the general consensus was.
I've
that
never
it was
heard
Frank.
that people thought it was Frank. I just thought it was a woman, but there's no
No.
personnel listed for the song who we don't know. And Gerard said he did female parts.
Yeah, I
and
don't
it's
think
not a mama.
I don't think I've ever thought it was a woman.
I thought it was a woman, but it probably helps you to hear it thinking that it's not a woman.
Right, yeah.
Because when I heard it, blew my fucking mind because I thought it was an actual woman.
Oh my gosh.
It is sort of like a vaudevillian sort of situation. It kind of reminds me of that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminds me of, when we hear Liza Minnelli on Mama. The whole vibe of this song is like a guy out at a bar, the patient out at a bar. And I guess I've always kind of envisioned it as he's being kind of a womanizer or scandalizing women that are there. And also it's an old-timey bar, it's 1910,
Right. I always picture for some reason rain for this song, like a rainy night or something. I don't know why, but it's always given me that image. As soon as I hear the dun 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 dun, I picture rain. I don't know why.
I can see rain.
I think this song, Sharpest Lives, is akin to the Jet Set Life, thematically, not music-wise, but
Right.
just in the Sharpest Lives, if just thinking about the title, the Sharpest Lives, the Jet Set Life. So Jet Set Life is about drinking and being on drugs and whatever. And so Sharpest Lives is basically the Jet Set Life, but it's gonna kill you. See what I did?
Hey.
The Sharpest Lives, it's where it kind of bites you in the ass.
Yeah. I kind of pair this song with Vampires from Bullets.
Okay.
Because he uses the drunks as vampires metaphor again.
Yes.
So I feel it like it's a continuation of that song in a way.
Yes, okay, yes, I have this in my notes. The dude just cannot let go of vampires as a metaphor for alcoholism.
Yeah.
He can't let it go.
It's a good metaphor.
Yeah, it's all about alcoholism. This song is just about being on a bender and being
Yeah.
just fucking your life up and being an alcoholic. And it talks about vampires and it talks about the sun and,
It talks about the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this is a flashback to the patient's earlier life when he was a drunk asshole, or that he's trying to evade death by going on a bender.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it works with the concept, though I also think that it draws heavily on Gerard's own alcoholic days.
Yeah.
And you can also tell there's a sprinkling in here of it being a song about being in the band because he mentions the boys in the band.
Yeah.
So I can see that too.
Yeah, honestly, 90% of MCR's discography for lyrics anyway, we could say it's based on Gerard's former addiction or current addiction or whenever the time period was. Mm-hmm. It's just based on Gerard's addiction.
It affected him.
I mean, yes, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that for the majority of the songs, we could say that he's pulling from his experience with addiction.
Yeah, and
his
I think that with the addiction comes a lot of self-loathing,
Yeah.
which obviously features heavily in a lot of MCR songs, especially in Revenge. And so I feel like a lot of those feelings about guilt and self-loathing and hurting people all are centered around the addiction parts of his life, and therefore make it into the songs because they're very dramatic.
Yeah. This song came about because Gerard and Ray were kind of like, they had this melody in their head, and Gerard was like, I can't let this melody go, but it's not really like turning into anything. I don't like what it's turning into, so I'm just gonna kind of let it go by the wayside for a while. And then he and Ray started working on it, like really sat down and were like, all right, this melody keeps coming up, so obviously we're supposed to do something with it. So let's just figure out what we're supposed to do with it. And then they came up with this. You know, they were like, I don't think it's ready, so we're just gonna use it anyway. So, you know, that's what this is.
Yeah.
So Gerard sat down and wrote this on an acoustic guitar. Just sat down and wrote the whole thing by himself, and then worked on it with Ray, obviously. But I want to hear the acoustic version. At Gerard, where's the acoustic?
We have the tapes.
Where is it, Gerard? I know you have it.
I really dig the verses of the song again. And again, it's another song where I get a little bit burnt out on the choruses. Like by the last chorus, I'm like, I'm done with the chorus. But the guitars on the end section save it. I really like them a lot.
Yeah. I can feel where this song you can kind of get overworked with the choruses, because they tracked this song for 3 full days. They worked on this song for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And it started off with like more electronic stuff when they were tracking it. It started off with more electronics than actual instruments when they were doing it. But they like reworked it a few times over the course of tracking it. So I think if you feel like anything is kind of done to death, it's because they did it to death.
Yeah.
Okay, I have this in my notes. I don't remember what it is. I just have a key smashed right before it, so I don't know. I don't know what it is or why I thought it was.
I feel like it might be the sampled opera singers.
No.
Okay.
That's later.
So I just remember that night we were watching TV or something.
Yeah.
And he points in the air, goes in the other room with the guitar, and comes out with the chorus. And I was just like,
that's funny. That's hilarious.
Gerard just points in the air. Mikey paints a very vivid picture. Like, here it is. I'm just imagining him not even saying anything. They're just sitting there like this, like this, watching TV. And he's like, and he just leaves.
I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Guys, gotta go. I'm on to something.
Yep.
Watson?
Watson? Can Ray be Watson?
I don't know who Watson is.
I don't know. But I feel like Ray should be a Watson. In the instrumental version that I was listening to, you know, the woohoo, that part that Gerard does towards the end, in the instrumental version that I was listening to, you can, like, hear it still. And it's, like, super haunting sounding. And it's just very ethereal. It's really cool. Listen. Yeah.
So another thing about this ending, I've been ruined on this ending because now it just reminds me of the time that Gerard and Frank got in a fight at Project Revelation. You can't say it! Listen, this is a thing that happened, and the thing is because, like, they get in a fight and so Gerard can't sing anymore, and you just hear, like, Ray's guitar. But you just, because Gerard's box cuts out and you just hear Ray's guitar going, and that's all I can hear at the end of the song now.
That's what I think of every time too.
It almost sounds wrong that he continues singing because I expect him to stop.
Like, you're just supposed to go woohoo, and then you get fucking knocked to the floor.
Oh man,
it's honestly a great time.
Like I expect to hear like the little mic drop.
Yeah, the mic drops and like see them throwing each other around.
They still love each other, guys. It's okay. Like they're all everyone's fine. Buds. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just a weird time for a second.
Speaking of the guitars at the end are frantic. They're frantic. I love it. What is the feeling? What is the feeling that you get at the end?
Well, I assume that part is a spy guitar part.
Yes.
That sounds very 007-y.
So the spy guitar. So basically, Gerard told Frank that he wants a, quote, spy guitar part for the pre-chorus. And Frank said, yes, because, quote, that's what you say to a dude that you love and respect who tells you he's so into your vibe that you're the only one for the job, unquote. Problem was he had never seen a 007 movie, and he realized he was, quote, pretty screwed. So he practiced all night and he got the right sound, and I feel like that's the sound that we get in the end.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah, he got there.
Yep. This song also has sampled opera singers, which are one of my favorite parts because it's very, like, scary Catholic, Hunchback of Notre Dame, doom and gloom, and I'm here for it. That is the vibe I'm looking for in my life. love that shit. That's why I
Yes.
want to be a Catholic.
That's why. That's it. That's all
Yes,
you want.
This is the vibe.
My dude.
So I'm not here for the religion. I'm here for the vibe.
I get it.
And that's it, compressed.
So do you think that they sampled this from somewhere, or do you think that they created a part and then had people come in and do the chorus part?
It was listed as sampled opera singers.
Okay.
So I assume it was already done and they
formed the
sample.
chords around it?
Yeah.
That feels right.
Yes, actually, I'm going to double down on that because the sample belonged to some guy named Jamie.
Oh.
He was not James DeWeese.
I see. And so the version with so if you look up like any of the Black Parade songs, you can find a billion different versions with like isolated vocals, just instrumentals, or like vocals and drums, or vocals and bass and drums. So the version with the vocals and drums with a bass guitar backing track, like, kind of fucking slaps. And you can hear all 80 of Gerards singing, and it's amazing.
Drums.
No
yeah,
drums.
There's so many Gerards. Like, don't count how many Gerards are in this. There's also like never a single time in this song where there's just one Gerard singing. Like, not once does that happen.
Nope.
The whole song is multiple Gerards.
You're just surrounded.
I pair this song up a lot with House of Wolves.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very similar songs on this album.
Yeah.
And I also, what I love about this song is that I feel like these are some of the darkest My Chemical Romance lyrics. Like, there's a place in the dark where the animals go. You can take off your skin, the cannibal glow.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. That's dark as fuck. I love it.
It is.
It's some of the best imagery.
Yes. This song is really vivid.
It's very vivid.
Like, it just, I don't know, it might give everyone a different vibe or like a different picture in their head, but like it paints a picture in your head.
It feels like grimy and dark and like it feels very comic booky because like the only world this person can live in is one that is drawn in like black inks all the time and there's never any daylight and it's just there's corpses in alleys. That's what I imagine for the world of this song.
Wow. Yeah, it's really dark.
I dig it.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
I'm so sorry to tell you that it's time to move on to the big boy. You guys, it's Welcome to the Black Parade.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band.
We've arrived. We have to do it now.
Yeah, it's time
I'm
to talk about
scared.
it. I'm a little scared.
My first two notes are, oh boy, strap in.
My first note is, let's just fucking G-note them.
Something mean.
I have, how many pages? I have 2 full entire pages on this.
I also do, and I didn't realize that until just now.
Slightly more than 2 pages.
Let's contextualize this song first.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
this is the song that catapulted My Chemical Romance to, like, the mainstream of the mainstream.
This is their Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, and it's their highest charting single. It was everywhere when it came out, followed by Teenagers, but we'll get to that at a later date. And this song solidified a lot of the stereotypes that people have about the band. Their image in the video, and that this song is a very theatrical song that's death obsessed. You know, the idea that they're the champion of the sad kids, that they're overly emotional, and it also features in the Daily Mail incident, which we'll talk about later. But Welcome to the Black Parade plays a part in the Daily Mail's perception and slander of MCR as a death cult because of the Black Parade.
I can't wait to get there.
The actual Black Parade.
The actual Black Parade. It's where the emos think they're gonna go when they die.
Oh my god. We're gonna talk about that later. Not now, but like this is
join the Black Parade, you guys.
This is where a lot of their public image comes from, is from this song, because it was such a fucking juggernaut, and because it was a serious cultural touchstone for anyone who's a teenager in the aughts. People instantly recognize that, even if they're not into the band, even if they're not into this scene. It's just one of those songs. And if you were a person in the year 2100 trying to make a list of the most impactful songs of that decade, you would have to include this. Like, this isn't just like a song that's on the radio a lot. Mm-hmm. This was like a formative song for people's teenage years.
Yeah.
And for like the culture of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big fucking deal. I feel like it can't be understated. There's a big fucking
It
deal.
cannot be understated.
So, should we talk about the song itself?
Yeah, so they've been fucking around with this song for 5 years.
5 years. It first came up in Bullets days,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really ready yet. For a long time, it was called The Five of Us Are Dying.
What I think is hilarious.
I know.
It was called that for a really long time,
A really
too.
long time.
Like, they tracked it at they recorded, like, a demo.
Yeah.
Like, in their recording sessions, they were like, all right, this is The Five of Us Are Dying.
Yeah.
And this is one where Ray was like, this was the last song that we recorded right before we got on a plane, and I'm really superstitious, so I almost just didn't get on the plane, because the last song we tracked was called The Five of Us Are Dying, so I was like, I don't want to get on the plane.
I mean, if you don't want it written in your rock biography of like, and unfortunately, the last song written wrote.
And then everything collapsed.
That's why it's great that their actual last song is Fake Your Death. Like, that can't be bad.
Yeah, no,
that
that's
can't
not
be
bad at
bad.
all. Yeah.
But yeah, so it was called The Five of Us Are Dying for a long time. Started in Bullets days, was written about 4 times. Originally, it had a chord progression in the bridge that was based on Canon in D major by a German guy who I'm going to mispronounce his name. Johann something?
Oh, Pachelbel.
Yeah, but they do like a...
Pachelbel. It's Pachelbel. Johann Pachelbel. They're all named Johann. It's the... it's... Everything, I'm just gonna let you in on a secret. Everything is based on this song. Everything is based on Canon in D.
Yeah, it's just the chord progression. Because, like...
It's dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, it's...
dun, dun, dun,
And it's just
dun.
those notes. It's not all the little... Like, if you heard it, there's like a lot of, But it's just that progression.
Yeah.
That was originally in the bridge. And you can hear that if you listen to the demo.
You can hear it if you listen to every single one of their songs, honestly. I'm just letting you know. That's the fucking chord progression for everybody. This is what I've been talking about.
But, I mean, there are only so many chord progressions. But what happened was that they changed one of those chords, and it sort of changed the entire fucking thing. And they had to go back and rewrite it. The lyrics of the demo were definitely not anything like Welcome to the Black Parade. They weren't this sort of anthem, this, like, empowering call to people to carry on through torment. It wasn't like that at all. It's just sort of like, it was kind of like a regular...
Yeah, it was just kind of like a throwaway, like, yeah, that song's cool. It was a bop.
It was a bop, but
Yeah.
like, it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, you can hear in the rough mix, you can hear where The Five of Us Are Dying is going, but it's a completely different song.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more Queen-esque.
I thought the guitars
Yeah.
in the demo sound more
Like,
Queenie.
Welcome to the Black Parade is Queen, but I feel that this song is like more, I don't know, more in-your-face Queen.
Yeah.
It just gave me that vibe.
I do have a quote from Frank about this, which I just enjoy, and you'll see why. He said, Howard ultimately didn't find it special enough to continue working on it during Revenge, and it was abandoned. So that's just another tally for the Frank probably has beef with Howard column. Because he said that in his liner notes, and he had talked in the rest of his liner notes about how much he liked that song and that demo, and then he had this one line about Howard not liking it, that's why it wasn't on Revenge. It's like, all right.
Honestly, though, thank you to Howard for not putting this on
It was a good
Revenge.
choice.
Because it's a good choice because it wouldn't have fit on Revenge.
No.
And they wouldn't have had the means and production that they had with Rob. And it wouldn't have been as big. It wouldn't have been the anthem that it is. It wouldn't have been Bohemian Rhapsody. It wouldn't have been the radio hit that it was.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, it was a good choice for everyone.
But Frank's a little salty about it.
Which is fine.
That's fine.
Another thing that really changed how the song progressed was that it was a little bit slower, and so they sped it up.
Yeah.
Because they asked themselves, what would the Ramones do? And so that's sort of how you get Welcome to the Black Parade.
Yep. I have a quote from Gerard about writing the song and about recording it. He said, "It felt like the pressure was tearing us up. It was the hardest song on the record to make. I was going through some very difficult personal things. I was literally going through them as we were tracking the song. Originally, it was sort of a plea for help."
Yeah, he changed the lyrics a lot.
Yes.
Even sort of like kind of last minute.
Yeah.
Because Bob also talks about when he puts in his beginning marching drum part,
the snare drum.
that he was doing that sort of while Gerard was in the process of changing the lyrics. And it was also a very last minute thing he did before getting on a plane.
It's a good part.
It's a very good part. But anyway.
Yeah. That's one of the few shout outs I'll give to Bob is the drumming in the beginning of this song.
He's a good drummer.
I mean, no, I'm not saying he's not.
Yeah.
I'm saying in this song specifically, it really shines through the whole thing that he's a really good drummer, and he wrote a good part for this song.
And also, Frank's dad drums in this song.
Yeah.
We have no idea where. There's nowhere to tell, but somewhere Cheech is in there.
It happens. Oh, I want to mention, before we go on, like, super into this song, I wanted to mention, if you know who Kevin Smith is, and you listen to his podcast, Gerard and Mikey go on there, and he makes them do Every Fan's Dream and break this song down line by fucking line for like 4 hours.
That podcast is really intense because
It's
Kevin
amazing.
Smith, it starts with like 10 minutes
Yeah.
of Kevin Smith talking about hockey. And then he starts talking about how he listened to Welcome to the Black Parade because it was like on a Wayne Gretzky video. Mm-hmm. And that it changed his life.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin Smith loves MCR as much as we do.
Kevin Smith likes MCR way more than we do. He called the band to his studio and made them talk about this song with him. He's a way bigger fan than we will ever be.
I'm gonna dispute that point that he's a bigger fan than we are because he has the resources and the name to get them in his studio.
Yes.
They love Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
They love Jay and Silent Bob.
It's a mutual
They know
admiration
who he
society.
is. So, of course, they're going to go to his fucking studio and do his podcast with him. Of course they are. Who the fuck are we? They don't give a shit. Obviously, they're going to do it for him. But, like,
I just think the fact that Kevin Smith's fandom at least is at the level of ours. And he gets to express it.
Yes, he gets to express it in a very vocal way, and I
What
think
a
it's
charm
really
life.
cool. I think it's really cool that he does that because he's this really doodly dude
Yeah.
who just very openly loves My Chemical Romance
Oh, yeah.
and adores them.
You know
as,
what
like,
other
people.
celebrity loves My Chemical Romance? John Cryer from Pretty in
Yes.
Pink. He was Ducky.
Yeah.
You guys, he loves My Chemical Romance.
Loves them.
Can you believe?
Can you believe? So, in writing this song and getting the really iconic parts, Rob Cavallo was really essential to getting that. He came up with this Rachmaninoff type piano part where it's like you think of Freddie Mercury doing the dun 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 dun. It's like that kind of feel that it had to it is what I'm imagining anyway. Obviously, I've never heard it, so I don't know. But when I imagine Rachmaninoff in a studio, I think of Queen. So he basically came up with this Rachmaninoff-esque piano piece, and they broke it down to the beginning piano part we hear. Mm-hmm. So Rob Cavallo started off with the notes that we hear, the 10-note progression that we hear, and he basically harmonized on that and made it to this really big thing that built up really loud and really big in your face, and then broke back down to a very, kind of a fading away thing. And the way they originally wanted to open the album was to have the parade feel like it was coming towards you, and then you would hear it kind of like going by you, and then you hear it fading away.
That'd be kind of awesome.
Yeah, it was that was a good idea. But so that's what he made for them. They were like, oh yeah, that's what we're gonna use, like for the basis of that thought, that feel is what we want. So we're gonna use that to represent the parade approaching and fading away as it passes by. So
They did that for the video for sure.
yeah. So Rob goes on vacation after he writes this amazing piece, and they're like, yeah, we're going to use this. This is awesome. He goes on vacation. He comes back to the band being like,
We changed absolutely everything.
we destroyed your work of art. Sorry. And like, we're not going to use it. And he was like bummed about it, but he was like, well, I mean, I really liked it, but I guess if you don't want to use it, that's fine. But what they did was take the very beginning 10-note progression that we hear, and they repeat it like 80 times in the beginning of the song. And he was like, oh, that's amazing. Like, that's sick as fuck. You should totally use that.
He's right.
Yeah, so thank you, Rob Cavallo, for creating that iconic beginning.
He sounded like a cool dude.
Yeah, Rob was essential for this album, and this song especially, he was essential.
Rob, come on our podcast. Let's talk about this.
Hey! So, Ray, basically, one part of this song, when Ray tried to record the Queen-like solo of it, it just, like, when he was recording it and doing, like, the main tracking for it, it just wasn't working for him. His fingers weren't going to the right places, and he just wasn't getting it. Mm-hmm. So what they did, or what Rob did, was basically cut and pasted the take that Ray had done for the demo version and used it in the actual song, and that became one of the 167 tracks they used on the song.
167 separate tracks.
Yep.
That is an insane amount of tracks. And Doug McKean, who was the engineer for this song, at the time he did it was a 20-year career record for him. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is so fucking money. It's more than Mama, and you would think that Mama would be the most. But no, it's this fucking song. 167. 167.
Yes. Yeah.
How long did it take to put it together?
A long ass time, my dude.
Someone give me the data.
I need
Holy
data.
shit.
Yeah, it's a mini epic. It
It is.
Ray describes it as the band's Bohemian Rhapsody, which
It absolutely is.
100%.
Except Bohemian Rhapsody had less tracks. It was way less complicated than this.
Oh my goodness. You're going to make some enemies here.
It's not that it's worse, it's just less complicated.
I know. Yeah, it sums up the sound and the message of the band, the message especially of the band, and the theatricality and the ambition that they had. I think this song sums it up really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, especially with the message, because this is an anthem, and because even though it's a song about death and it has to do with the storyline, it's still a really hopeful and defiant song that a lot of people took as a form of empowerment to get through their lives.
Mm-hmm. And here's the glockenspiel Gerard was so stoked about. It's here. It's finally here.
Thank God.
He was so excited about it, and now he gets to use it.
It's one of the 167 tracks. Or maybe two. I don't know. I don't know how you get to 167.
I don't know. And I'm so stoked about the beginning part. The phrase that the piano phrase that they use. If you just take out the vocals and you listen to the background, it repeats over and over again, but they build on it. And it's a very Beethoven-esque thing that they did there, because Beethoven, a lot of composers do this, but I'm just taking Beethoven as an example that people know. Like Beethoven's Fifth, the dun 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 dun, is just 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's those 4 notes a billion times through the whole piece, and they just transpose it and build on it. And that's essentially what the beginning of this song is doing. They're not transposing it, but they're building on it and adding to it so much that it makes it sound different. So in Beethoven's Fifth, essentially the whole song is doing that, which I just think is really cool.
Should we talk about the music of the song?
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, my favorite part of the song, of the whole song, is Gerard's screams that he does when he starts screaming the lyrics right after the drums kick in, but before like the big drop of the song.
Yes.
What a perfect moment. That is everything. And if you listen to the isolated vocal track, it will startle the fuck out of you because it's silent for so long before that happens. But he's just so good at making that sound, at like wailing and sounding so distraught. And I love it. I love it. And it's not a multi-tracked moment either. It sounds great.
Yeah. Ray is living out his Brian May truth in this song.
He just is Brian May.
He's living his dream.
Brian May have actually tracked this part, and Ray had nothing to do with it.
Like, Brian May just, like, possessed him. His spirit possessed Ray, and he just recorded
Here's
this
what
part.
happened. Brian May sat in a really big leather armchair, okay?
Yes.
Had some, like, fancy special tea. Zoned out and astral projected himself across the globe to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Where Ray was also sitting in a chair.
Yes.
After he drank some special tea.
Absolutely.
And accepted his spirit into his body.
Yep.
picked up his guitar and tracked this solo.
That's exactly how it happened. I don't know why you're laughing.
Fact.
I don't know why you're laughing. That's truth. That's exactly how it happened. Wow, you cannot convince me otherwise.
And it's also really well placed because the song kind of sounds like it's going to end, and then it's like, surprise, here's the solo.
Mm-hmm.
We're going in for one more chorus.
Yeah. Oh, the horn section in the bridge, phenomenal. Outstanding. And then Ray's solo right after blows my fucking mind. We will listen. I'm just crying. I'm sorry. I can't.
Oh my god.
I'm just emotional about Ray.
It's just so big, man.
And in the bridge section also, in the isolated vocals, you can hear, or it's more towards like the kind of the end, they call it the orphan section. Mm-hmm. It's like this another gang vocal, where they try to make it sound as much like children as possible. And it's just children saying, do or die, I'll never make, maybe there's a world we'll never take. So they did that section. And didn't they perform this once with a children's choir?
I don't know. I've got no idea.
1000%. I can't remember the exact, like, where it's from, but I remember them performing this song and seeing children in skull makeup behind them, and they only did it once because Gerard was so freaked out by it that he was like, I'm never fucking doing this
Children's choirs are scary as fuck. Like,
yeah, Gerard was not about it. He thought he was into it, but he wasn't.
That's like a very 70s thing to put in your song, like the children's section. But no, I'm not about that.
Yeah, it freaked them out too much, so they never did it again, but they definitely did once with a children's choir behind them.
I've never thought that part in the song actually sounded like children. It's never occurred to me.
Well, if you listen really hard to the isolated vocals, you can hear it. It's towards the end.
Have we mentioned the actual point of the song, which is that death comes for you in the form of your happiest memory?
No, we haven't talked about that yet.
Well, so this song is supposed to be the Black Parade coming for the patient, and the Black Parade is a representation of death, because death is supposed to come to you in the form of your happiest memory, and the patient's happiest memory is of his dad taking him to a parade. And it's based on a real memory of the Way's dad taking them to a parade, which isn't necessarily their happiest, but it just made a big impression on Gerard.
Yeah.
There's a quote about it, which I'll read for you.
Yes, please do.
I have a really strong memory of my dad taking me and Mikey to a parade. I remember the big inflatable balloons, even the ones of cartoon characters I loved, were so imposing. So I think that he liked this image for the bigness of it, and for the fact that it was a celebration. And you can see the balloons in the video too, which we'll get to in 1 second. We're not quite there.
No, we're not at the video yet.
We're not quite there. We're getting there. Very close. But this is sort of like the main fulcrum that the patient's story turns around. This is sort of like the center of the album, even though it's actually very close to the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm. And Gerard has said that this is the hardest song for him to sing, or second hardest song, second only to Death Wish, vocally.
It's a really, there's a lot of big things he has to do for a long time.
But he has also said that he said it a few times, that this song is the most emotional for him to perform.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a lot about him kind of trying to come to grips with how people perceive him and how people put him on this pedestal as, and here he is, emo messiah. Like, he's arrived. This is it. And I think it's kind of him coming to terms with it, and, coming to terms with, he's still dealing with his grandmother's death. Like, the one line he references it, sometimes I feel like she's watching over me, and he said before that that's directly referencing his grandmother. He feels like it doesn't fit his personality to be this leader that people make him out to be, or like to be the leader of the scene, as it were, or to be the savior of all the emos. And I feel kind of weird about it, because he wrote this obviously before the song came out. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know what's about to fucking hit him. Like, well, he's uncomfortable with it now. Like, he's about to get real uncomfortable with it in a minute.
I don't necessarily think this is a song about his discomfort with that, but I do think it is a song that was written with the fans in mind. And not necessarily like the fans, but written with the idea of people who have been kicked when they're down in mind, you know, that sort of thing. And I think when he performs it live, you know, one, because this is like their biggest song, and two, because those lyrics are so blatantly inspirational and empowering.
Yeah.
That I feel like this is a song where he shoulders that responsibility for 5 minutes.
Yeah, this song to me sounds like it's sung by a 20-something-year-old dude with way too much responsibility on his shoulders. And he's, you know, just kind of saying for the whole song that he doesn't give a fuck what people think about him. He doesn't give a fuck what people expect from him. He's like, just kind of like, you know, like, hey, I'm 26. I can't bear all your burdens. I don't know. It feels just very big to me. It feels like it's putting, he's putting out there that he feels a lot of pressure. That's what it feels to me. I'm not saying that's what he wrote the song about, but the vibe that I'm getting is that it's like a 26-year-old dude who's like, I'm under a lot of pressure, you know? In the beginning of the song, it's his father is being like, hey, you're going to save all these people, right? You're going to grow up to be a savior and like a hero and stuff. I'm not a man. I'm just a man. I'm not a hero. Like,
It's also a very Jesus-y thing to say.
yeah.
It's like, I'm not God, I'm just a man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Catholic overtones in this song are heavy.
And everything are so heavy. I definitely like think, especially in the beginning part, I think that this song has an evolution. And that the beginning part is the mantle is being put on his shoulders of like, this is the responsibility that you have to take on. And that he grapples with it, but I think the song is him embracing it, because then I think that, you know, the end part of like will carry on, and that whole long end section is like the words he wants to put in people's mouths. And it's sort of like the whole point of the record is to be hopeful, even in the face of such bleak circumstances. And again, we'll talk about this so much more later when we get to the wrap-up episode.
Oh my gosh.
But Gerard didn't intend for this to be a hopeful, empowering album that deals with dark things, but shows a path to get through them. And I think he really believes in that. Like, I don't think that was just like artistically something he wanted to create. I think that's something he really believed in, and that he really wanted to make work with this album. And that, as we mentioned before, like in Bullets, he feels called to sort of do these things and make the world a better place through this music, like, and genuinely fucking believes that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
and that this is like one of the examples of that, and that he takes out on this song, and that people don't always get that from this album, but
yeah. And we've talked about this before. They're a band that is no bullshit. Like 100% what they say, they feel it, they mean it. They're not trying to bullshit you with like, oh yeah. One thing that I feel people who are introduced to this song today don't understand is this kind of message wasn't ultra common when this song came out. Now in pop music and stuff, it's kind of like a cheapened version of this. It's like a cheapened inspirational, like, oh, I'm going through hard times and you're going through hard times too, and we'll just go through hard times together and we'll be sad together, but we're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Just look to the light and blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of what a lot of the slower pop music and whatever and like rock bands do now is like, yeah, we're here to be inspirational and we're here to lift you up and stuff. And I'm not saying that they don't mean it, but like some of it is bullshit. But back then, they were one of the only ones that were like, yeah, we are here to save your lives.
And also like making music that is meant to do that, or meant in an empowering, inspirational way, and not making it sound really cheesy. Like, I hate inspirational songs.
Yes.
And to be honest, I skip Welcome to the Black Parade a lot. Not necessarily because it's inspirational, but because it was so fucking overplayed. And like my ears are just really tired of it. So now that I've done this episode, I've re-embraced it.
Yeah.
But I generally do hate hopeful songs.
Yes.
This is not one of my top favorite MCR songs for many reasons. Mostly because of just like it being overplayed, and because I appreciate it as a song and like a piece of art, but it's not necessarily something I want to listen to.
Right. Yeah, no, I super appreciate its cultural impact, and I appreciate the boundaries they broke in making this song, and I appreciate the message that they put in it and that it sums up what they wanted to accomplish as a band. And, you know, there's a lot of depth to it and a lot of emotion to it. But I think it's truly just not my favorite song because I heard it so many times.
And also, like, I think that the song is a good song and it's good to have this large sort of general hopeful message. But the emotional parts I take from My Chemical Romance, now that I'm, like, you know, knee deep in this fucking band. You know, I take more inspiration from the songs that I connect to more personally, or that I know that the band connects to more personally. You know, I take more inspiration out of Bullets because like I'm just very touched by the idea of these 5 guys in Jersey doing this out of just like
pure joy. Yeah.
Not joy. It was not out of joy.
It's out of joy and love of music.
It's out of utter depression.
Well, I mean, joy of music. Like, you have to make music.
Yeah.
To get any kind of feeling out, you have to make music, you know?
But the fact that they felt, like, compelled to do that album out of such terrible circumstances and that they used it to change their lives. Anyway. So I don't really connect to this very large, generalized, hopeful message, and I don't connect to those messages, generally speaking, with other bands anyway. But I do appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Also, on another note, I didn't realize this before, but do you think the Paint It Black and Take It Back line is a subtle reference to the Rolling Stones' Paint It Black?
For sure, yeah.
Okay. I just wanna make sure that we're on the same page there, that they're making a Rolling Stones reference.
Your cred is intact. It's all good.
Okay, good. The harmonies on and On We Carry Through the Fears, blah, 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 blah. Probably some of my favorite harmonies in this song, like, honestly. One of the best harmonies that Gerard has ever come up with, like, to be really honest with you.
It's very high.
Oh, it's so good. Speaking of high, we don't need an A note because he goes so much higher than an A. The highest note in this song, which is beat out only by This Is How I Disappear, which is the yelling part, but the highest note in this song is a C-sharp 5, which is high if you're belting that. Even for a girl to belt it, it's really high. And he just fucking modulates this song up and up and up. And I'm like, Gerard, why are you doing this to yourself? I think he maybe performed the main melodic line live, maybe once. And then he was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore.
Yeah, it's a really intense
I'm gonna leave that to Ray.
I also think and again, this is not a problem, but, like, there's definitely autotune going on in the higher parts.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
To make them sound clean.
Yeah, and I'm not even 100% sure that he did that live, like, recording it. I'm not 100% sure.
When you, like, really listen to it, you're like,
it's maybe pitched up a little bit, but that's okay. It's, you know, it doesn't have to.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
167 tracks.
Yeah.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah, but he has to belt the fuck out of the C-sharp 5 for a long time, like repeatedly, hence why his voice broke on tour, and he just has to do the lower harmony.
We'll get to that later.
He just was not kind to himself vocally on this entire album.
You gotta get the results, man.
I know. I understand.
Are we ready to go on to the video?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, everyone pause this podcast. Go watch the video again. I hadn't watched a video in a long time. And fuck, it's a good video.
Yes, it is.
It's a great video. And we just all need to appreciate it for 1 second. And now that you're back, we can talk about the making of this video.
Oh man, I want to be an extra in this video so bad.
So bad.
Oh my gosh.
If you were an extra in this video,
please
talk to us. It was directed by Sam Baer, who also did Bullet with Butterfly Wings for the Smashing Pumpkins, which of course was a huge draw.
And Smells Like Teen Spirit.
And Smells Like Teen Spirit, but mostly Bullet with Butterfly Wings.
Mostly Bullet with, but like, so Smells Like Teen Spirit, we'll get to it later with teenagers, but like, I mean, he did these 2 fucking iconic videos.
Yeah.
So they chose Sam Baer because of these credentials that he had, and they also heard that he was pretty intense.
I'm so glad you're talking about this.
Have some questions.
I'm so glad you're talking about this because I thought about talking and it was like,
I'm going to bring it up. No, I'm going there.
But now we can do it.
I'm going there. I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
For Sam Baer. Why? Why do you need to be like that.
He's kind of a dick in the making of video.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick, and then they cut to a part where Sam is with Gerard, and Gerard's like, he just gets really
just
intense.
intense. I
get
get
intense too. I'm like,
Oh, honey.
and not Gerard.
He's just trying to make an excuse for him. He's
I
like,
get that
"Yeah."
he's like making art, and he's like
Right.
a big deal, and like he's director, but like, be a little nicer. I appreciate that you get intense and that you want it to be perfect. I really appreciate that. But learn some social skills.
He reminds me of Howard Benson. He reminds me of Howard Benson in that he feels very Hollywood.
He does feel very Hollywood.
Howard Benson feels like, and I've talked about this before, Howard Benson, from what I've seen of him, obviously I don't know him as a person.
And we don't know Sam either.
Apologies to Howard Benson's fans or like his friends or whatever the fuck.
He makes good records.
Yeah, apologies
Bayer
to
makes good
Sam Bayer's
videos.
friends and family and whoever. The way they come off in public, from what I've seen, they just feel very Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, oh, go get me my fucking latte, and like, you're beneath me. And they just, I don't know,
He's
they
just like cursing at like the text and the grips who
Yeah,
are
they
working
just
with him, and it's like, just
feel
like,
very superior.
let
I don't
them
know.
live.
Ugh. It just, I don't know, gives me a bad vibe. But so that all that to say, he did make a great video, 2 great videos.
Mm-hmm.
He did great. I don't know. He's very intense. So, but can we also talk about the fact that if a woman were to direct like that and act like that, she would not be working for very long
No.
because she would be a bitch rather than assertive?
Yeah.
Just want to put that out
people-
there. Insert patriarchy jingle from Buffering Cast.
People would complain more about her instead of just calling her intense.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway. Yep. So they filmed this video in a fucking aircraft hangar. Actually, they built space shuttles there. Spacecraft hangar. And all of the things you see in the video pretty much were there. The debris was there. The background painting was there. The actors were there. The ash in the air, that was there.
Yeah.
Like, that was filmed.
Yeah.
There's some digital effects that
Like the
with,
balloon.
Yeah, with the balloons, and they extended the background. But like most of what you see was just, and they edited the lighting. But most of it was there.
Yeah.
And like the transition from the hospital room to the parade, that was done live.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
what an incredible video!
Yeah. Was this video the premiere of their look?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I thought that they had premiered their look at the VMAs.
Okay. Yeah, that's very plausible. I don't know the timeline, to be really honest with you. I didn't look into it. I don't know the timeline. And it's very easy to look up. Like, just look up release date of Black Parade video versus 2006 VMAs or something like that.
Yeah.
But it is 100% the first appearance of Fear and Regret
Oh, yeah.
and appearance of Mother War and The Patient. It's like a really big thing for the concept.
Yes. Yeah, it sort of like condenses all that into this video.
And Fear and Regret have the bars across the eyes, which I think is
do.
really funny. It's like a hashtag throwback.
So the plot of the video, though I'm sure you've seen it because I told you to, is that the patient is in a hospital room with a couple of creepy nurses, and he's flatlining. He's going out, guys. He's not going to make it. And Gerard shows up on a TV screen, starts singing the intro. Eventually, when he dies, he gets that makeup suddenly on him. The TV busts, the walls drop, and here's the parade coming right the fuck at him.
That'd be terrifying.
Which is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, Mikey said in the making of video, like, this is supposedly what happens when you die, and if it is, I'm going to be really scared.
I agree. I would also be really fucking scared.
I feel you.
Because Gerard is already like full screaming, like rocking out, coming at you on a float.
He's not letting
Holy
you
shit.
ease into it. He's like, all right, you're dead, motherfucker. Also, on Mikey's uniform, there's the medal on there, which is apparently a throwback to his death in World War II.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Mikey. He died in
out.
World War II. Pouring out for my homie. But I think it's really funny that they have that, like, continuity.
Yeah.
That's, like, it's not the same thing at all, but, like, they have continuity in Mikey's, like, character, I guess, or something. And so basically, this whole look is a separate band.
Yes, they're the
So
Black Parade.
they are the Black Parade.
Yeah, they're playing as a different persona.
Yeah, like, this is an alternate universe where My Chem no longer exists. They just are the Black Parade. That's it.
Yeah.
And even in the press interview that they did, like one of the very first interviews that they did, Gerard says, yeah, so we become the Black Parade on this video. And, I feel like My Chemical Romance, when they make an album, they do blah, blah, blah. And he's, like, referring to MCR as they, which I just think
Love
is
it.
hilarious. He's in character.
Imagine being the Black Parade and, like, you're the band in the afterlife and, like, you gotta wait around and, like, get booked for gigs, like, when anyone dies and, like, it
Like the
fits
Grim
your
Reaper.
universe. Yeah. Because, like, you can't be for everyone because not everyone's happiest memory has to deal with a band. So you just gotta,
Right.
like, sit around in some waiting room waiting to be called and you gotta set up, you gotta put on your jacket, you gotta, like, you gotta get your amps and your guitars. And,
Maybe
like,
they just exist in, like, the netherworld and they're just wearing that all the time.
yeah, but do they still
And
have
they
to, like,
just, like,
tech?
appear.
Do they still change their guitar strings?
I don't
Does
think
it wear
so.
out?
No, this is another plane of
Do they
existence.
need amps for the guitar sound?
I don't think it works like that.
Oh my god.
This is another plane of existence. It doesn't work the same as it does here.
What are they doing in their downtime? Are they
They
on?
don't exist in their downtime.
There's no, like, afterlife tour bus to hang out on?
They're doomed to forever perform constantly. They don't get any downtime.
Oh god.
Maybe that's their purgatory.
Oh man.
Maybe that's their hell.
Wow. You don't think they, like, chill with, like, Mother War?
Maybe,
Like,
but
let me
I
try
don't
on
know.
your gas mask.
I feel like they're too intense. They can't chill.
They're
There's
pretty
no
intense.
chill. There is no chill with them.
In any case, so the look of this video was
Yeah.
based on two very famous black and white silent films, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Metropolis. And I think you can see the cabinet influence with, like, the aperture opening and shutting and, like, the different shots that go with the aperture opening and shutting and, like, how Gerard looks on the TV screen and the patient's makeup and his death scene and really all the cuts to the patient. Those, like, hard cuts that are kind of at a weird angle or a little bit shaky, or the really dramatic poses when he dives, his arm out. Those are very fitting to that movie. And the Metropolis, I think the main influence is, like, the cityscape.
Yeah.
But both of them have these sort of heavy shadows and, like, these light, dark things going on, which I think you can see in there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't think this was necessarily an influence on the video, but steampunk was also having a moment at this time.
Yeah.
And this fits in so well with that aesthetic, with Mother War and the gas mask and the Zeppelin. It was made for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the sort of, like, Victorian feel to a lot of the costumes.
Yeah. Yeah, the costumes. Colleen Atwood. Let's talk about Colleen Atwood.
Colleen Atwood is so revered in this fucking fandom.
Oh my gosh.
But rightly so, because she did the Danger Days looks and the Black Parade looks. She usually works on films.
She works with basically just think of Tim Burton and you've got Colleen Atwood. Like,
Yeah.
she does basically everything Tim Burton. She did Edward
God
Scissorhands.
bless.
She did fucking Edward Scissorhands. Like, can you believe?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing.
Seems correct.
Yeah, so Gerard drew up these costumes and was like, this is kind of what I want them to look like. And she was like, bet, can do. So
Yep.
she made the shit happen. A side note, since you have watched the video and you have it open in your other tab, go back to the video, pause at 4:55, look at the fucking girl in the pig mask there. I don't like her.
I remember seeing that when I was younger. When you say girl in pig mask, I see it right in my head.
I don't like her.
I know exactly what girl that is.
I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't want it in my vision.
Pigs die too, man.
And at the end of the video, the patient is shown by himself just kind of wandering off into nothingness, like shuffling off into nothingness. Is that what he's doomed to do for the rest of eternity? Like wander in the wasteland?
Here's the thing. Because Gerard called the background, the painted background, that it was supposed to represent, like, the city of the dead.
Uh-huh.
So there's a city.
Okay.
There must be things to do.
So he's off to the city?
Yeah.
Why was he dropped on the outskirts?
That's just where you start.
You gotta work towards the city of the
Yeah.
dead?
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like a video game.
I feel like if you've already died, like, you've done enough. You should just be put in the city.
No.
You gotta work for it.
And listen, we don't know how long that road is. Maybe it's not that long.
It looks like a long time. Like, it looks like a while. It looks like when Frodo and Sam are, like, on top of the mountain and they're looking towards Mordor.
Like, oh.
I'm like, oh, that's not far. But it, like, takes a year to get there.
Yeah. Well, he's got nothing but time, you know? And I do like that they took that concept that you talked about the parade coming towards you and going away, and that's sort of represented in this video.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, where does the parade go? It just
Yeah,
goes
we're
on to the next
just
person.
we're just moving. Like, all right, bye, dude. We're moving on to the next guy.
Have fun.
They gotta re-perform that song all over again.
Maybe it's a different song for everyone.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you get a different song. Maybe there's a different epic that we don't know about by the Black Parade in an alternate universe.
Yeah. MCR5.
Oh. Can't say that.
Well.
Yeah. One more very tiny thing that is super not important, doesn't matter at all, but it's very important to me personally when you're watching the making of the video, when Gerard and Sam are talking and Sam is like, people are going to flip when they hear this record, and Gerard's tiny little smile when he's just like looking down and he's pretending that he doesn't care what Sam is saying, but he smiles and I'm really excited about it and he's just so happy and he doesn't know what's about to hit him.
They absolutely did flip.
I'm good.
Well, have we sufficiently covered Welcome to the Black Parade?
I don't feel like we did, but it's over.
Well, we're at like 2 hours of recording, so we're done.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yes.
Hopefully we have done this justice.
Yep.
There's so much of the record to go.
I know. We'll get to anecdotes when the episodes are able to be shorter.
Yeah, guys, obviously we're going to cut this down, but we've recorded 2 hours of raw audio, so yeah.
Yeah,
we're going to skip out on anecdotes for this time, but we're going to bring them back hopefully soon. Mm-hmm. But now it's time for patron shoutouts. We forgot this last week. We're really fucking sorry. But here are the shoutouts for all of our people that support us on Patreon, that give more than $2 a month. Thank you guys so much. Tim Malpass, Vienna Langton, Gabby Dauber, Quinn Torrens, my mom, Tarla Mantia, Cherith McGregor, Katie Kelly, Melissa Contreras, Phil Grant, Emma Johnson, Caitlin Carnes, Anne Louise Mullen. If we fucked up your name, I'm so sorry. Doing our best. But thank you for supporting us. And
yes.
If you want to support us, you can give more than $2 a month, and you can also get a shout out on our podcast.
Mm-hmm. So, in the meantime, follow us on the socials. Twitter and Insta at Chemical Fancast, Facebook My Chemical Fancast, email us at mychemicalfancast@gmail.com, and if you would like to support what we do, as we said, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/chemicalfancast.
I think that's all for this week.
That is all for this week.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Heck yeah. So I'm Haley.
I'm Kat.
And this is My Chemical Fancast.
Talk to you later.
Bye.